How's everyone doing today? Hello and welcome back to Becca's Book Nook. Today I'm going to be doing my March TBR. So it is finally March, which is my favorite month because it is my birth month and we finally start to get a little feel for spring. It was such a beautiful day out today, for me at least where I am. I hope everyone else had a beautiful day, but it is so nice and sunny and I didn't have to wear a coat and I'm just loving the feel of March so far. I am turning 20 this month, so hopefully there's lots of money coming my way to buy new books and maybe a new shelving unit since I am running out of space. So in January and February, I had been focusing solely on my Shadowhunter reread to prepare for the Chain of Iron release, which was yesterday on the day that I'm filming this. So I'm so excited to get to read some new books this month and just get to experience new characters and new stories, and I just can't wait to get into them. I am finally back in my apartment in front of my bookshelves, which I'm so excited to give you guys a tour of. As you can see, they're behind me. I am currently in my second year of university, as I've mentioned previously, so I don't have a whole lot of time to be reading, but I try to spend any spare moment I have during the day reading, so I'm hoping to get to all these books in March, but there really is no guarantee that I will. But then I'll just push it into April, and I'm hoping once the school year ends in May, I can start reading a whole lot more than I have been over the past 3 months. I have so many books that I'm excited to read on my TBR for the rest of the year, so I'm gonna just hop right into the books that I plan on reading in March, and yeah, let's get right into it. Because I'm filming this on March 3rd and the month has already started, I have already read a book and begun a second one, but I'm going to be talking about them anyway. So on the 1st of March, I actually decided to pick up Queen of Nothing by Holly Black because I still hadn't read it, and I read the other two, and I just wanted to get the series done. So yeah, I just kind of sped through that on March 1st. I started reading the book around 8 p.m. on March 1st and finished around 12:30, 12:45-ish a.m. But I finally got it done, so I was happy, and it ended pretty well for me. I wasn't an overly huge fan of the series in its entirety, but I definitely think it wrapped up well. I don't want to spoil the book for those who haven't read it and are hoping to read it, but I was very impressed and happy with the way that it ended, and that's really all I'm going to say because I don't want to spoil it. But yeah, so that was my first book of the month, and I'm excited to be done with that series. The next book that I'm going to be getting into in March is, of course, Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare. I went to my nearest Indigo as soon as the stores opened yesterday to grab my copy, and I am already 200 pages in, but I still don't know what else is going to happen with the story, so I wanted to include it in this since it was supposed to technically be my first read of the month. This cover is just so stunning in itself. Even like the spine is gorgeous. I don't really have anything sort of yellowy on my shelf, kind of except for Kingdom of Ash, so I'm kind of excited for the added color, and I'm excited to feature it up on my Shadowhunter shelves up there. It's wonderful so far. I'm so excited to get to re-immerse myself in the 1800s England sort of world. I love the characters. I'm happy to be back with James and Cordelia and Lucy and Matthew, and yeah, I'm interested to see what kind of mischief they get up to. Kind of stressing me out that I'm 200 pages in and nothing bad has really happened yet, so I'm a little bit hesitant to continue, but I'm really excited. So yeah, this is going to be a great read. Next book that I have to read after Chain of Iron is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab, which I am slightly embarrassed to say that I have not picked up yet. I ordered this book a few months ago when we were still in lockdown, but I was seeing it blow up all over TikTok, and I saw so many people saying that it was the most beautiful and inspirational book they'd ever read, and also that it broke them into a million pieces, so of course I had to buy it. I've never been this intrigued by a book before. The cover is just also so beautiful. I love the star element and the gold and the black, and it's just so simple and lovely, and I've heard the story is just as lovely, so I'm very interested to see what it's all about and excited to meet the characters and fall in love with this book, hopefully. I don't know a whole lot about the story, but I believe that the main premise is that the main girl, Addie LaRue, wishes upon the gods or makes a deal with the gods or something like that, the gods that she believes in her religion or world, and she gets cursed because she prays to the wrong god or she prays on the wrong day, and she gets cursed so that everyone she meets will forget her immediately afterwards. which just sounds super interesting and intrigues me, pulls me in, makes me want to read it. I'm pretty sure that there is a love interest in the book, so I'm wondering to see how that's going to work since everyone forgets her. I'm wondering if maybe he's going to be the exception for her somehow, or if she's just going to keep meeting him over and over again over the course of the book. So I'm really interested to see how that all plays out, and yeah, I cannot wait to get into this book. The next book we have is, of course, From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. If you watched my last video, you know just how hype I am to read this story. Having seen a million book talks and YouTube videos telling me that I desperately need to read this book, I'm pretty sure I desperately need to get into this book, like immediately. I was thinking about reading it as soon as I was done Chain of Iron, but I did want to get to Addie LaRue first since it's been on my TBR for longer. I still am unaware of what the plot of this book is, other than the fact that it's enemies to lovers and steamy, as I stated in my previous video, and I'm kind of excited to be going into this book blind. I've never really gone into reading a book without even a small clue about what it was about, but I genuinely have no idea what's going to happen in this book at all, which makes it really interesting and intriguing to me. So I can't wait to crack it open and see what all the hype is about and see if I'm going to enjoy it as much as everyone else. And yeah, so that's next up. Next up on my March TBR is A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer, and this has been on my bookshelf for I think almost a year. I believe I purchased this book for myself when we first went into lockdown, like last March or April maybe, and I just had so many other books still to read that summer that I didn't even think about getting to this book at all. So many friends and people on TikTok and all that community have told me to read this book and to read the sequel, and I'm very happy that I finally get to it because I have pushed it past all the other books that I have because I want to get to it after waiting so long. The only thing that I really know about this book is that it is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, which pulls me right in because of how much I adored A Court of Thorns and Roses, which is also a Beauty and the Beast retelling. Because of how much I enjoyed A Court of Thorns and Roses, I am very interested to see this author's take on the Beauty and the Beast retelling because I'm sure there's going to be their differences, and I just find it really interesting how many people can take inspiration from the same story and make it their own. That just really excites me and makes me excited for this book and what it's going to entail and the new characters I'm going to meet. And I know that there's a sequel, so if I like it, I can pick up the sequel. But yeah, so that's next up on my TBR, and I'm very interested to see if I enjoy it as much as everyone else. And the final book on my March TBR is The Gilded Wolves by Roshani Chokshi. As I have already mentioned in my previous video, I am so hyped to read this novel because it is a heist story in 1800s Paris. How much better can you get than that, really? In all the years that I've been reading, I haven't read that many stories set in Paris, so this intrigues me right away, being in a different city than I'm used to, because I feel like most of the books I read are either set in some fictional universe, like my fairy books over here, or in the Shadowhunter books, just like England, New York, LA, and no one really writes about Paris that much. Maybe Scarlet by Marissa Meyer? I can't really remember if that was actually in Paris or if they're just French. I am really hoping that I have enough time to get to this book since I have been very excited to read it ever since I heard about it, and because it is constantly being compared to Six of Crows, which I adore. So those are the 5 books that I am hoping to get through this month, and if I don't get through them because of school and my birthday and everything else getting in the way, then I will hopefully just get to them the next month. But yeah, I'm looking forward to all of these books individually, and I can't wait to review them all for you guys, so expect that soon. Please give me a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed today's video, and comment down below if you've read any of these books and which one I should be the most excited to read. I will also link a few of my socials down below if you guys want to follow me on there. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!